Mr. Kevin DuJan from King's Cross Station, London, UK.
Actually, it's a violation of the Open Meetings Act for you to read off someone's address. It's a form of intimidation.
I didn't read off an address.
Well, you did read off an address, so you can't say where I'm strong.
Nancy, but he's out of order.
You're addressing me, President Healy.
I'm asking for Kevin DuJan.
That is me, but I feel intimidated if you're reading off my address. You're not allowed to do that. It's an intimidation tactic.
Who's going to speak? Someone want to speak?
Are you giving me permission to speak? Because Diane Jennings said that I
I'm
couldn't.
giving you permission to speak, yes.
Correct. Is my 5 minutes starting?
Yes.
My name is Kevin DuJan, and I'm here to publicly shame this board for the crime spree this board has been engaged in for the entirety of the year of 2014. Let it be known that today, May 19th, 2014, the Attorney General issued another letter of determination showing that you violated the law on February 12th when you held an illegal meeting on Abraham Lincoln's birthday. Last week, the Attorney General ruled that you violated the Open Meetings Act on January 20th as well. When Nancy Went Healy committed a Class C misdemeanor by preventing Megan Fox and myself, as well as another member of the public, from talking about this library continuing to be a point of access for child porn in our community. It seems like every week a new letter of determination is issued that shows you have broken the law. When will this crime spree end? The February 12th meeting has now officially been determined to be illegal, even though Megan Fox and I have been telling you that since February. In fact, on February 12th in the morning, Megan Fox and I actually contacted both the board and your attorneys, Dennis Walsh and E. Kenneth Fricker, to warn you that you were about to violate the law. Dennis Walsh mocked Megan Fox and told her that he knows the law, saying that the board could get away with violating the Open Meetings Act. Also, Diane Jennings and Dennis Ryan, two board members, two trustees here, were incredibly obnoxious that day. They shouted at Megan Fox at the illegal February 12th meeting. Dennis Ryan told her to shut up and said that February 12th was not a legal holiday because his wife is a teacher and she knows. This is all on YouTube and you should watch it again. Not only was the behavior of Diane Jennings and Dennis Ryan obnoxious on February 12th, but it was illegal as well. This letter from the Attorney General shows just how much Dennis Ryan, Diane Jennings, and Dennis Walsh know about the law. I call for the immediate resignation of Diane Jennings and Dennis Ryan from this board and the termination of the service contract this board has with Kleinthorpe Jenkins for legal representation. Once again, headlines read, Amateur Detectives Fox and DuJan Make Fools of Library Board. I think a good subheading is also, Library's attorneys at Kleinthorpe Jenkins are incompetent. This ruling that you violated the Open Meetings Act on February 12th is something you should take very seriously. The statement that President Healy read is very factually incorrect. You need to look up the law. Up until now, your lie has been that you do what your attorneys advise you to do, and your attorneys claim they know the law. However, you now possess two determinations from the Attorney General that show your lawyers are incompetent. Either they are committing malpractice by being willfully ignorant of the law, or they are deliberately giving you terrible and unethical advice to encourage you to break the law, because the more trouble you get into with the Attorney General, then the more money Kleinthorpe Jenkins makes to clean up your mess. Do you realize that to date you have wasted $83,000 on legal fees to Kleinthorpe Jenkins just in matters related to your fight to keep child porn available in this library? Most of that has been spent fighting FOIA requests, such as the current effort underway to refuse to produce the PowerPoint presentation that Mary Weimer and Bridget Bittman delivered at the Rails Burr Ridge location on December 17, 2013, at the Hate Fest held there that day. Because you have refused to either give me that presentation or to have Mary Weimer and Bridget Bittman just stand up here today and tell us everything they said at the Hate Fest, I have had to piece together this presentation from documents I obtained from Rails. I've given you all copies of this reconstructed presentation, and if you do not explain to me today how the presentation that Mary Weimer and Bridget Bittman delivered at the Hate Fest differs from the presentation I reconstructed, then I take that as your agreement that my reconstruction is an accurate reflection of what was said and done at the Hate Fest for all purposes going forward. It is time for this board to take a harsh and clear look at the legal advice it has been getting from Kleinthorpe Jenkins. I think you should file a malpractice suit against this firm. Yet again, today's letter of determination proves that Megan Fox and I know the law better than Dennis Walsh, your attorney. We certainly know the law better than James Fessler and Diane Jennings, who claims to have been a lawyer once many years ago, or Dennis Ryan, who doesn't even know what days are legal holidays in a state he's lived in for decades. Shame on all of you. And I have to say, shame on the board members who know that what this board does is wrong, but you sit there and you say nothing. When Nancy Healy is violating the law and committing Class C misdemeanors, you need to stand up and you need to speak out against that. You need to tell her to stop. Shame, shame, shame on anyone who doesn't stop this, because you're getting Attorney General notations and terminations saying you break the law, but then President Healy comes here and reads a statement that I assume was prepared by Clanthorpe Jenkins that says completely the opposite of what the actual letter has. I have the letter. I would like to give it to the board if you have not seen this and actually read this yourself, but it does not say what President Healy says. It very clearly says that you are in violation of the Open Meetings Act, that February 12th meeting, it is void ab initio. That means that anything that you voted to ratify and affirm on March 17th, that does not count. You cannot vote to ratify and affirm something that is void ab initio. And when Mr. Fessler starts giving you little notes and telling you to do otherwise, this is public money being spent on bad advice. Please consider that. Thank you for my time, President Healy. I appreciate it. Thank you.
We have Ms. Megan Fox.
Actually, Dan Kleinman is the next person that's on the list.
He's here.
Is Mr. Clinton present? No, he's
Yes,
He's
he
present
is.
here via
The board does
FaceTime.
not allow
According to your illegal public comment policy, which you voted on at the March 17th meeting.
You have no policy that bans
There
this.
is a policy that prohibits participation by video conferencing.
That policy is void ab
It is
initio.
not void ab initio.
You are in
Mr.
violation of the
DuJan,
Open Meetings Act.
Mr. DuJan will be removed if you continue interrupting. Our counsel is here, and he is talking to you. You are allowed to speak.
Excuse me, can you identify who is your counsel?
Clanthorpe and Jenkins. And
Who is this man?
Mr. James Fessler.
And is this man your counsel too?
He is,
He's the architect.
okay, Ms. Megan Fox.
Excuse me, before she starts, I'm just leaving, but I just thought I'd stop and tell you board members what a wonderful job they're doing here at the library. I certainly enjoyed it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
And you didn't rule him out of order. Why?
Because he's walking out the door.
Or was it his turn to speak?
You haven't started addressing, but I'll.
Uh-huh.
Starting now.
That's interesting. Double standard.
Excuse me.
Excuse you?
Yes. Are you ready to start speaking so we can?
Yes, I was just interrupted by someone who it wasn't his turn.
Yeah, I don't believe you were interrupted. Thank you.
What?
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you for having us. As you read, the Attorney General of Illinois recently issued a decision about your constant interrupting of public comment on January 20th. You lost. Nancy Healy, you violated the law and committed a Class C misdemeanor according to the Open Meetings Act. The police are investigating, and I find it unbelievable that you have had the nerve to call the police on me 6 times when no laws were broken in an attempt to silence and intimidate me, and here you have violated the law and committed an actual Class C misdemeanor, for which you should be put in handcuffs and booked and charged. If a person in the private sector, like myself, committed a Class C misdemeanor, there would be no question of whether or not I would be arrested and charged. I wonder why the police aren't here to take you in right now. Could it be the culture of corruption that Cook County is known for, where its elected officials can break the law at their leisure and never face a consequence, like you said, a non-binding opinion that you broke a law? How ridiculous does that sound? I assure you, if the police refuse to act, this is not over. I will lobby the state's attorney and the state police until you are held accountable for your crimes. As of today, there are several. This board has illustrated a willingness to continually break the law without reserve or apology over many months, and it will catch up with you. And I noticed that there was no apology tonight, even as you sit here explaining to us that you broke the law. Where is your sense of decency? Turning to the main issue, the access point to child pornography in this library, I witnessed one of your security walks that you claim will stop this kind of behavior last Friday. I was in your library from 4 p.m. to about 6. During that time, I was in full view of the adult computer lab working on my laptop at a desk. I saw a librarian make her security walk. She walked around the perimeter of the library. She never once attempted to walk down the rows of computer users to see if anything illegal was being accessed. In light of this, how do you plan to stop someone from downloading child porn, Mary Weimer? Who is paying attention? The answer is nobody. If you would use simple filtering software, you wouldn't have to worry about policing the computers, which you already don't worry about, clearly. And you have a lot to worry about. Again, I don't believe any of you have actually looked at the internal report where child pornography was accessed in this library, so I blew it up. And I had the important parts highlighted so that you could never say again that child pornography has not been or cannot be accessed in this library. You have allowed this fight to be taken over by radicals with a political agenda instead of used your common sense. I have a source in the police department who told me that this man, David Varlotta, is a registered sex offender who has been convicted of sexually abusing a minor child. He comes to this library nearly every day, and Mary Weimer knows this man. Don't you, Mary? You know who he is. You know his face, because the police have told you directly that he's not supposed to be on the computers. And instead of kick him off, what do? You tell them that you will turn off his internet access. Is that even possible, Joy? Can you do that per computer? And does every employee in this library know this man's face? Do you know him? Joy, do you know him? This man is a sex offender, and he is dangerous to children. The police don't want him here, but you do. Why is that? How many parents let their teens come to your library for hours on end alone to utilize your teen area, your lovely area, just 39 steps away from David Varlotta, who is legally not allowed to be within 500 feet of schools or parks? Why is he allowed within 39 feet of your teens here in this library and any other child in this library? You do not care about the safety of children, and I'm sick of hearing otherwise. It's a lie. Whatever it is you are doing with the American Library Association needs to stop. I suspect the ALA is using this situation to prove a point, that they can win a battle that's ideological against parents. But you need to decide who is more important to you, the American Library Association or the families who use your library and the taxpayers who fund it. I call on Nancy Healy to resign for your wanton lawbreaking, and Mary Weimer to resign for allowing sex offenders near children and access to children in this library. Shame on all of you. Shame on you.